Hey ACA, Executive Vice President Cody Burkham here with you to give you Week 11's legislative update. This is covering March 25th through 29th. As you might remember, last week they had a quick week at the Arkansas legislature. They just met Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then they took Thursday and Friday off for a little spring break. They came back this week, and surprisingly, they're in session all week, Monday through Friday. So they're actually still just now going into the House session. But the updates we wanted to give you have already gone through this week, and didn't see anything on the calendar that would really affect this legislative update. So I wanted to go ahead and give it to you. Like I've mentioned, actually the last couple of weeks, we are getting close to the end of the session. For this year. We're hearing that there could be a wrap-up around April 12th is, I believe, the goal. So that's not next Friday, but the Friday after. So we're really getting close. So we'll begin to see some committees that have taken care of all of the business that they need to. They might not be meeting anymore. And then you'll just see the final bills that have been out there going through committees and getting pushed through, whether in the affirmative or the negative. So we're just really watching for that end date here for the Arkansas legislature. But a couple of updates that I'll give you right quick. Though there hasn't been just a whole lot go through the last couple of weeks that affected the cattle industry here in Arkansas, that doesn't mean to say that there hasn't been some stuff that hasn't gone through that would affect agriculture here in Arkansas. So the first one I will mention, I mentioned last week, is Senate Bill 563. This is the bill by Senator Bruce Malek. That is the companion bill to House Bill 1407 that you might remember I've mentioned many times over these legislative updates. This is a bill that allows the Arkansas Agriculture Department to promulgate rules and regulations dealing with the labeling of meat and pork and poultry and grain, specifically rice here in Arkansas. So this is just a companion bill. It gives the Arkansas Department of Ag the ability to really enforce the rules and come up with some new rules and things like that. So it passed the Senate, as you remember, last Wednesday on the 20th. This week it passed the House Ag Committee on the 27th. Which was Wednesday, and it passed the full House yesterday, Thursday the 28th, by a vote of 93 yeas, 1 nay, and 6 not voting. So, good strong vote there. It'll now go to the governor for his signature, and we hope to see that signed very soon. And we're really appreciative of Senator Malek for his work on that piece of legislation to make sure that we have all the angles covered and all the bases covered for meat labeling and consumer choice here in Arkansas. The next bill that I'll just real quickly mention, you'll remember that I mentioned it last week. I said that the Cattlemen hasn't taken a stand on this bill simply because we don't deal with a lot of liquid livestock litter and fertilizer in our industry here in Arkansas. We're not a feeding state, so we don't have to deal with this just a whole lot. Let me correct that. We're not a cattle feeding state, maybe I should say. So, but as you'll remember, this bill simply took the law regarding liquid livestock litter from Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality, ADEQ, and it was transferring that authority over to the Arkansas Natural Resources Commission, the ANRC. Like I mentioned last week, this has been a very contentious bill, a very contentious issue between agriculture interests here in Arkansas and some of the more extreme environmental groups that see this as what they feel is an attack on some different environmental regulation. I don't hold with that thought. I think this is just simply a good governance streamlining bill. But just to give you an update, this bill was discussed and debated in the House Agriculture Committee on Wednesday the 27th. It was a long and contentious meeting. It was about a 2-hour meeting, and for anybody that's been to those meetings, you realize that most of the time those committee meetings will last 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. So to see a 2-hour committee meeting was really unusual, and there was a lot of emotions on both sides, and so it was quite a long meeting. We'll actually be putting up the link to the Ag Committee video in this Facebook post for those of you who may be interested in watching the debate and the discussion on Senate Bill 550. We want to make sure that you have that information, so feel free to click on that link and give it a listen, and just see what you think about the bill, see where you think you would come down on it. Ultimately, Representative Mary Bentley, who was a co-sponsor of SB 550, made the motion in the committee to move SB 550 to an interim study. And so what this means is that this bill will now be deferred. It will no more action will be taken on it this session. But it will be studied in the interim, meaning after the legislature dismisses and recesses. Over the next, several months, year, this legislation will still be studied, and what the effects of it would be, and how it could affect Arkansas agriculture and the environment and things like that. So this is not this issue may be down and out for right now in this session, but that's not to say it won't come back in a session, here in a year or 2 years or so. So that's what we have on Senate Bill 550. That's really all we have this week. Everything else that's moved to the Ag Committee really just kind of refers to the economic incentive side of things. There's some different things there, but nothing that really affects the cattle industry and cattlemen in the states. So it's just kind of a slow slog now to the end, and we're going to continue to be there. We're going to continue to watch the state legislature for you. I will mention that next week we'll have to do our video a little differently. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it yet, but myself and ACA leadership will actually be in Washington, D.C. to talk with the congressional delegation there in Washington, D.C. about what we find important as far as the ACA stance and national issues, trade, tax, and things like that. So we'll have to do these videos a little different next week, but I'll work with Michelle on that, and we'll get it all figured out and try to get you another update next week. So with that, we hope you have a great weekend. We appreciate you watching, and if we can do anything for you here at the ACA, please let us know. Be glad to help you however we can. Thanks. Have a good weekend.